There it is. What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good as always. I'm wonderful because, man, we're continuing. I'm just loading you guys up with these scouting reports. Today we're talking JJ McCarthy, Michigan Wolverine product, and he is probably one of the more, interesting enigma products that I got to say out of this draft class, because there is a lot of good things to get excited about, but there are some red flags that you're going to say, is he the true boomer bust product that you're looking for? I mean, he could be great or he could be a complete in shambles bust, even though we see Coach Harbaugh preaching up the good graces, saying he is the best quarterback in this class. I do like him. I think there is skills, but there is definitely boomer bust in this man. So let's talk pros, cons, and a grade score for JJ McCarthy, national champion quarterback. Do see a lot of teams, they're gushing over his potential, and there is some that suggest, this isn't going to be the surefire thing. He's going to have some things he's got to work out of his game. I do like him. I think that there is quality that is to be seen and had, but is he going to be that top franchise quarterback that you're looking for? This is the question mark on JJ. He is a winner. That is the biggest thing that we do say about him, but let's talk those measurables. 6'2", 219. He is 21 years of age. I mean, listed under 200 before the combine and his pro day. I mean, it is still on the leaner side of frame. You want to say 219 is still good on the measurements. 21 on the younger side. Definitely good positives for a JJ, man. 40 games. He does 67.6 on the completion percentage. 6,226 yards, 8.7 on the average. Only 49 TDs to 11 interceptions. So statistically speaking, he doesn't wow you off the paper. And that is the biggest thing. I mean, national champion, the winner, you got to understand what he is. And I mean, like I said, Coach Harbaugh definitely singing his good graces, because he could have been, we're talking a game manager type of quarterback who understands what he has on his roster, understands how he has to win football games. JJ definitely fits into that mold. So he could be one of these palleable, moldable quarterbacks in the right system that could lead a team down to a, big time winning record and potentially going for the championship and Super Bowl. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Let's talk some pros for a JJ. Good arm talent, not great, okay? Can he get it down the field? That's the biggest question mark. We did see him sling it in shorts at the combine at this pro day, and I mean, he was getting it down the field. We have seen highlights and the good plays that he has, produced on the field where he is getting it down the field. So I'm not overly concerned with the arm. I think the arm is good enough. It's just not great. We're not talking it in the same category of Caleb, of a Drake May whatsoever, but it is a good arm. It's a live arm, and it does work, man. He is the typical play extender. Great pocket sidesteps. He will navigate this pocket. He will roll out, and he will extend plays. This is what you're looking for. Backyard football definitely is there for a JJ McCarthy. You do like that about his game. He will extend. He will look for his wide receivers on those junkyard plays, and I do like that about a player, because he's going to keep the play going even when you think it's dead. JJ's going to keep that thing going. Very good improv skills. I can't speak today, so I'm not going to say that, man, but he's very good. Like I'm saying, he's going to extend plays, he's going to improv on the fly, and he's going to try to find his wide receivers down the field, and he is very good and sound in these respects. This is why a lot of people want to say that. The mobility is definitely there, and it's strong, and you like to see that, man. He evades the pass rush extremely well with that athletic, sound mobility and playmaking ability, play extending ability. It is all part of his game. Rollout pass left and right, very good. I don't really have any issues with it whatsoever. I think that he can get it across his body, throwing to the left, going to the right, it's no problem. Very good passes when you do see him hit the ball to his wide receivers, man. Some of these passes we saw JJ do, you're like, holy crap, man, did you really make that play? But why isn't overly consistent in your game? But you got to say, it is part of Michigan and how the Wolverines did play football. Very much a run-heavy team. Strong zip on the ball, wrist, it snaps off the wrist very well. And I think that's a lot of these quarterbacks in this class as well. The mechanics are so sound and good that they do zip that pass when it comes to their good quick release. JJ is no different. He's got a very sound release off the ball, snaps off the wrist. Is it one of these ones we're going to say, Will Levis style? Will Levis hasn't done much in the NFL, but his release, his pass release is probably one of the best you've seen in a very long time. You got to say JJ's kind of, on the lower trend of that, but he still is very good with the zip on the ball, can get it into the tight windows. Pass release is quick, very good mechanics, hip torque is good. I mean, when you're talking about everything that he does well, he does these things extremely well, and that's what you want to see from your quarterback. If, it's got to say, can you do it once? Can you do it twice? Now you got my head turned, and I'm taking notice of everything that you're taking and putting on the field. JJ McCarthy does that very well, man. He's got an amazing big boy throws, like I'm saying, tight throw, mid-range, over the linebackers, in between the coverage, safeties and defensive backs, definitely pluses for me. When he does hit these, it is incredible. This is why some people, especially the Michigan Wolverine fan base, they love themselves some JJ McCarthy because of these throws that he was able to make, and he definitely puts that on film, and you're like, damn, man, did you really make that throw so good? And I think that if he builds upon that, he could be one of these guys you're really looking for, like pinpoint accuracy in between windows when you're like, that's a throw this man should not make. He definitely makes. So you do get amazed by some of these big boy throws. Excellent ball placement. I mean, accurate, 72% in 2023. Nothing to sneeze at. So again, is it one of these situations where you can say, I'm not saying McCarthy is Brock Purdy, but it's in the right system, right situation. Brock Purdy, absolutely excels with somebody like a Kyle Shanahan. We see JJ in a similar likeness, excelling with a Harbaugh because he's able to understand where to put the ball. The scheme is so good in helping him find his wide receivers that, 72% is definitely nothing to sneeze at. Even though we don't see the top end of the statistical achievement in it, he's at least moving this football down the field like you want him to. Very decisive on his first reads. Like I said, system type of quarterback. Slant routes, timing routes, you see them, the deep shots. He's able to hit these because the timing and the system read is definitely there. Very decisive when it is in front of him. Like I said, evades the pass rush well. We won't go with that. And his rush stats are good, man. 161 for 632 and 10 rushing touchdowns. So when you add that to the statistical achievement of the fact saying he only threw, 49 TDs, add another 10 TDs to that as well. I believe that's his this past season. I got to check that again. I should have wrote it down here because it does stumble you from time to time. But his rushing stats are not bad, and he's able to take off. He is mobile enough to take off into the open field and make plays. Is he going to be like Josh Allen? No, that's not part of his game, but he is elusive enough to get into the open field, and he is very mobile with that athletic ability. He's a winner, like I said, 27-1 last 2 years with the Natty to boot. JJ is that guy. When you're talking about winners, you're looking for a quarterback who has played good competition, who has played sound defenses, and continues to win football games and doesn't hurt your football team from winning and inhibit them from winning. So McCarthy definitely is in that as well. But he does have some cons, and these could be some workable things also. We got to say, lean frame, okay? Based on the fact of 219, I do believe that he did bulk up for the Combine and the Pro Day, which is good. But I do believe, playing, this past year, it was listed as like a 197, just under 200 pounds, and it is noticeable on film. He is leaner in that sense, but I do believe in again, it's in a NFL weight room with an NFL meal plan. These guys will put on 10 to 15 pounds, no problem, without losing any kind of situation on their athletic ability or speed. He can panic on the edge pressures, okay? Pressure does affect velocity and accuracy. We've seen this at times. He will try to roll out a lot, and that's why he's more comfortable in that sense also. Can play in the backyard football, can extend plays, find his wide receivers down the field, and he will make those plays. But if he's standing in the pocket, he does have good pocket awareness, but he can get rattled at times when he's panicking on the edge pressures, maybe gets a little bit too much happy feet, maybe starts seeing a little bit ghosts, but I do like it more than I dislike it. Just have to list it down here. The pressure can affect his passes at times where you want to see those great big boy throws with higher levels of consistency, even though it is 72% on the pass rate. You just got to understand what you're getting with a JJ in that sense, man. He will bail on reads to scramble off script quite a bit. And okay, is this a bad thing? Maybe not, because he's still able to make plays down the field. But when you're in the NFL, you kind of do want to see a little bit more scripted stuff to be had. And I get it. Everybody loves the Mahomes, loves the Allen off-script throws. Caleb is like that as well, so we're not going to sit here and bash JJ for going off-script too much when Caleb does it all the time. It's just one of those things. You want to see him comfortable in both sets where he's not bailing on the first read after it's not there and he's taken off. Progress the field, see your wide receivers, see where they need to be, and I think it just needs improvement. Progression on the field. He'll lock in on his wide receivers at times. He'll force the first read, and progression improvements. Just be more comfortable in what you see from your wide receivers. I think in the NFL, once he does get some more high-quality, talented wide receiver cores, we will see JJ succeed in that as well. less reliance on him to carry the team. So again, part of the system. They're definitely a run-heavy team at Michigan. Blake Corum and company, they did carry the load a lot and assisted somebody like a McCarthy. So that's why you're saying, excuse me, is he a system guy that requires certain aspects like the run game to help him out? Very possible in that sense altogether, but I do think that he is good enough that he can lead the team by himself. We just haven't seen it near enough to be comfortable with it. Lots of less reliance on him to carry the team, where it was more the run game, the defense, and I mean, he did benefit from a fantastic O-line and run game. What else can we say? This is not a con. This is more of a statement because you can't fault him for having a good team around him. He was able to obviously win the national championship, so that he had to carry the team enough to put him in a situation where they needed to win. But again, benefited from the O-line, makes his life easier. If he has a subpar O-line in the NFL, how's he going to handle that? Is the pressures going to, again, panic on the pressures? Is that going to be a problem if the O-line in the NFL isn't as good? That's the type of situation you're talking about. Here in New York, Giants love JJ McCarthy. That offensive line in New York is not necessarily good, and then we'll see him run for his life a little bit like Danny Penny's does. But I mean, benefiting from a good running game, any quarterback will benefit from that. Set up the play action pass, relieve some pressure as well, keep the defense honest, so you can't fault that for JJ, but definitely a point in notice to say this is what he benefited from his time with the Wolverines, man. Lesser overall stat line, like I was saying, under 3,000 passing yards, never went over that in a season. Under 25 TDs in a season, never went over 25 TDs. Run-heavy system. A big lead, sat a lot in the fourth quarter. That's a one that's going to say actually should be a pro rather than a con, but I'm going to say that's a statement because the team was winning. They didn't have to rely on him, so he did lose a lot of playing time in that respect as well, hence why his stat line is a little bit lower. He didn't necessarily have to play in a lot of fourth quarters, man. Only 300-yard passing games in his collegiate career. One of those situations, like I'm saying, is it going to translate in the NFL because he hasn't had to do it? So again, one of these quarterbacks could benefit from sitting, learning, and then, expelling his potential on the field later on. We will see. But I do like JJ McCarthy enough that he is a good quality quarterback. There is some red flags, some maybe raw tendencies that we can say can be coached out. He is a good one. But for grading purposes, he's one of these dudes, man. I do like me some JJ McCarthy. Am I going to sit here and tell you he's the sure thing? No. He's probably got more boom or bust potential out of this draft class than a lot of these top-end talented quarterbacks. 78.8%, we got him on the grade score, and I do like the score. He does grade out extremely well, especially when it comes to those big boy throws, how accurate he is, how mobile he is, how athletic he is. He does grade very well for me. And I think there is a very high ceiling for him, a very good ceiling, I should say, not a high ceiling, a very good ceiling, but there is some bust potential as well. So you got to hope the team that he does land on coaches him up properly. He could be a very good quality quarterback in the NFL. So there that is JJ McCarthy, national champion, potential top 10 pick in the NFL draft, depending on how these teams do covet him in this draft. We see the New York Giants love his game. We could see some surprises come in this draft board early on, no question. I wouldn't be shocked if we see 5 quarterbacks go in the top 15. It would not be out of the question whatsoever. There are some hungry QB needy teams, man, definitely out there. But I do like JJ. He's got some quality. You just got to round out some of the raw tendencies. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What are y'all thinking about JJ? Y'all in, y'all out? You think he's going to succeed in the NFL? How does he stack up versus these other quarterbacks? Throw it in the comments. We could definitely talk it out, but we'll see you next time. I am out.